Hey guys. So I want to mention one thing that I did not mention yesterday. I probably should have, but I forgot. But it's a really important part of the ending of the second move. It's a general principle. So it's not specific about this move, but this move has a really good indication of it, and that is um, an awareness of the difference between your waist, your daimai, and your hips. I'm doing this on purpose. For most people, their hips and their waists are locked together. So if they want to move their waist, they have to move their hips and vice versa. All right? By becoming aware of that fact, you can begin to differentiate the waist from the hips, because in fact they are differentiated. That's actually a joint. It's a rotary joint. And you should be able to turn your waist in one direction and your hips in the other, etc., etc. But there's a question about how you can do that, because your body is built in a certain way, and your your physical waist can only move so far. So watch. Right here, and again here. All right. Your waist can move so far. Your hips, all right. So your physical waist can only go so far. It's just a few inches. All right. If your if your mind if your mind is on your hips and not your waist, then you're going to go so far, and the only way to get far enough is to restructure your body. And by restructuring your body, I mean especially opening the knee. All right? Opening that knee. If you're going to open the knee, that opens the pelvis. Right? So you sink into that open pelvis, and then you can rotate your hips. But you see, it only goes so far. Boom. All right? Then you can rotate your waist a little bit more because you want to move your arm. If you want to move your arm, you don't do it like this because it's so weak. You need to have your core body backing your arm movement up. So it's not like this, it's like this. Okay, your hips can only go so far, your physical hips. Your physical waist can only go so far, and frankly, not that far, really. I mean, boom, that's about it. I can't turn that white dot all the way over here. So how do you get any more stretch in this direction? And the answer is your energy body. Your energy body is a body. Hold on a second here. All right. Your energy body is a second waist. We call it the daimai. You've got a physical waist that can turn so far. All right? Maybe it's turning 6 inches in each direction. But your energy body can just keep going. It can go all the way around the back to this hip, or even farther. All right? It can go all the way around to this hip back over here, or even farther. So if I want to turn this way, I don't turn my daimai to here. I turn my daimai all the way around. It's going to come around and it's going to come over back over to this hip. So it's really turned almost 360 degrees. Boom, boom, boom. That's what gives you some power. It's not the physical, it's the energetic. That's what I mean when I say differentiate the waist from the hips. You can only turn your physical waist a little bit, but you have to be aware of the fact that you can really turn your energetic waist a lot further, because that's what you're going to need to do to make this work. When you do the form, you can do this very lightly, but you should know about it and you should practice it in your mind, because your chi's going to go where your mind goes. If your mind cannot imagine the fact that this is good, that could turn all the way around, well, then it's not going to go there. And the chi's not going to go there. So it's going to be really weak. All right? All right? It's all the way around back to this hip here. So I'm stretching. It's not just that I'm stretching between my hands. I am stretching between my hands. All right? What I'm really stretching, though, is between this point here and my hand. This here. So it's not between the hands. Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but that's really because this hand is kind of holding this energy here. Does this make sense? So if you can grab a little bit of that feeling, it's not that you have to display it really strongly physically. You don't. Lots of times, if you watch Master Feng doing this, you really won't even see it. All right? But if you watch old tapes of his, you'll see it really strongly. All right? Why do you not see it in his newer tapes when he was older? Because it's harder to do. And as he would age, he'd kind of lighten up on what he was doing, of course. So don't be extreme with it, but try to be aware of it, because a lot of the benefit of the physical, the health benefit of Tai Chi has to do with separating things and stretching them. Again, watch. Stretch. 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 Makes sense? Rand, does this make sense? Good. Catherine? Kevin?
Yeah, I just don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be feeling, but I understand the idea.
Well, that's a good. It's a good comment. What should you feel? One is, remember what I said yesterday, that in this particular these particular moves, you're combining two dimensions, front to back, so Li dimension and the Ping dimension. If you want to make the Ping dimension work, you have to do this differentiation of the hips and the waist. You've got to activate your waist is another way to say it. If you don't activate your waist, you won't have much Ping energy. The more you activate your waist, the stronger your Ping energy will be. Remember what you're doing. Someone's trying to kick your knee here, right where this white thing is. All right. If they land that kick, you might have a broken knee. So you have to stretch, and it's not this. That's not good enough. You're not going to get anything with that. You've got to have your body behind it. It's the body that's blocking. This just happens to be the part that contacts the foot first, all right? So you need to stretch this. Well, the only way to get this kind of thing like this, your waist has to turn, right? Well, your physical waist can only turn so far. So you have to learn to that it's possible to turn farther with the energy waste than with the physical waste. Yes, Kevin. I'm busy watching Catherine.
So,
Yes, Catherine. Yes, that's it. Good. All right, Kevin. What were you going to say?
so I have my lower back problems, and so I'm kind of fused or was, and then now I've gotten alignment, and it's not this; it's more like this. In other words, it became, instead of a block, it just feels like I'm empty, but I can turn in a lot of different ways. My hips do this, my hips do this,
Uh-huh.
am I getting close, or is this something I shouldn't even think about?
No, I think you're going in the right direction. Just keep going. I'm not in your body, so I kind of try to empathize with what you're saying, but you're probably the only person who really is going to understand that from the inside out. Um, when you do a move like this is a difficult move. And the reason it's difficult is what I'm talking about. Yes, Catherine, good. Good. This is not easy to do. We don't think this way. um, do it a little bit, but don't push it too hard. Just add it to your practice, do it moderately, try to do that differentiation. You watch most people do this move. Here's what you're going to see from most people. Right? There's no structure to it. It's just sort of a mush, right? So this helps you get some structure in there, but don't push it to the point where you hurt yourself, because you actually can for some of these moves if you overdo it a little bit. Just it's kind of like what I was talking about earlier about going down and coming up and going down and coming up. Just take it easy at first until your body gets used to these kinds of movements. Okay. Any other questions about this move? Let's do the first two moves of the form. Another thing I should have said last time. Uh, watch me do this move, all right? And watch this arm. It's the timing. This arm is going to stretch out and it's going to circle and then it's going to pull back in. You don't move your right side of your body forward until the left side starts to come back. Watch. All right, stretch out, and now as you pull back, that's when you walk through. And you think, well, why? Well, because this is a counterweight. This side, my right side walking through, that's a lot of mass moving through. You need a counterweight to that so that you can maintain your Zhongding. And you think, well, yeah, but your arm, I mean, your right side of your body has a huge amount of mass and your arm's just got a tiny little bit of mass. How can that work? It's because it's extended in space. It's just like any lever. If you suppose you want to jack up a car, all right? You want to jack a car up and change the tire. I'm going to give you two levers. This lever here or this lever here. Which one do you want to use? They're both levers, but this one's going to this one's going to be very difficult to use, and you're not going to get very far with it. All right, this one you may, and it's exactly the same thing. If I only stretch out a little bit, that's like a little lever. But if I stretch all the way out, that's like the big lever. And then when I pull in, it's easy to walk through. You prove it to yourself, just do it. So the timing on this and many of the other moves is really critical. In a sense, you can just think of this as gymnastics. The timing, your balance, and has to do with your timing. And this little bit of timing is a really important one. Stretch out, circle, pull back, and when you pull back is when you walk through. Okay? Let's try one more. Stretch, circle, pull back. Boom. Okay, let me watch you guys do it. Catherine, why don't you lead the first one? Do it twice in a row.
Okay.
Good. One more. Good. Catherine, um, as you were doing that, I realized that the camera was not on you, and I'm really bad about reminding people about that.
It's okay.
But well, it's since we're posting these, it would be better if we had the camera on you or on Rand or whoever's really doing this. Another thing that would help, Catherine, behind you, you have a black couch and a black painting. And when you wear black clothes, you just sort of blend into what's in the background there. Now I can read it pretty well,
You need
but
like bright orange or pink.
yeah, yes, if she
Oh,
was wearing
okay, man.
if she was wearing a pastel, either change the painting to pink or else you wear pink. Well, you just wear something lighter, right? Something that contrasts with the background a little bit. That would be helpful. Um, okay, Rand, two times.
Okay.
Good. And again.
Okay.
Good. Okay, guys, hold on just a second. There's something I want to show you, and it's actually attached to the wall, so I have to see whether I can get it off here. This, this is half of a poem in Chinese that Grandmaster Feng wrote. All right, but it's the half I want to talk about. The English translation, right, is in Tai Chi, spirit and form link continuously like flowing water. This is also true for Qigong, but it's especially shows up in Tai Chi. Spirit and form link together continuously like flowing water.
Beautiful.
So how do you get to that place?
In next life.
No, you gotta do it in this life, all right? One thing is you need to get a really good teacher. The second thing is you gotta practice it 10,000 times. The second thing I wanted to bring up is something Bruce Lee said. Bruce Lee said, "I'm not afraid of a man who has practiced 10,000 kicks each one time. What I'm afraid of is the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." All right? So he was saying the same thing. If you want to if you want the spirit and the form to flow together like water continuously, there's only one way to do it. And that is you got to do it 10,000 times. All right? So watching you guys do these two moves, you are really improving. It may not feel like it. If you're like I was 30 years ago, you may feel like your progress is very slow. But from my point of view, watching you, you have made big strides, bigger than you know. So just be comfortable with it and just flow with it and just do it over and over and over and over. And what will happen, you guys probably all have other skills other than Tai Chi and Qigong. And the same thing happens with those other skills. As you do it over and over and over and over, it knocks the rough edges off. So do you have rough edges in what you're doing? Absolutely you do. All right? But everybody does at this stage. Everybody, without exception. And the only way to get rid of them is you just do it over and over and over. And as you do it over and over, it knocks those rough edges off. And your body drops into the moves themselves. So from my point of view, I liked what I saw today. It was very good. Let's go on to, we've just got 10 minutes here, but let's go on to move 3, all right? So we've done Buddha's warrior, pounds the mortar, relax. There's a guy coming at you, not from straight ahead, not from 90 degrees, from 45 degrees. One way to treat an attack is to meet it. So he's coming at you, then you go at him. The advantage to doing that, to approach someone who's approaching you, is now you can back up. Right? If you just stand there and wait for it, he's going to hit you like a ton of bricks. So instead, you move forward, and he comes and he begins to hit you. You can move back. It's like putting the car in reverse. All right? So you're going to step forward, and where you're going to step is right between his legs. Right between his legs, and your hands are already down here. Right? Your hands are already here. Right? Just hit him in the balls. Right? It seems like a very little move, but let me tell you, it's very effective. Right? And again, it's from the waist. It's the waist turn. Boom. It's just the waist. It's exactly like right, flicking a towel. Flick, flick, flick. It's the waist. Shift your weight. And if you put both hands together, right, it's very powerful. So you might hit him in the genitals. You might just hit right below the Dan Chen. What's right below the Dan Chen? Kevin?
Soon to be ruptured bladder.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So you hit this guy here, but he's good. He's well trained. He knows it's coming. He's ready for it. And before you can hit him, he grabs both your wrists. All right? Now he's got both your wrists. So that puts him in a superior position because he's on top and he's got both your wrists. So what do? Well, one thing, it's not the only thing, but one thing that you can do, all right, is just join your hands together. He's still in the superior position, but you've gone from being somebody who's kind of being split to somebody who's now unified, and now you've taken the center line. If I had to worry about superior position versus center line, I'll take center line any day. All right? So he grabs you, take the center line. Now you're in control of the center line, not just your center line, but his center line, or maybe more important, the center line created by both of you together. So you got his center line. Now you want to get him off your wrists. So I'm going to move up here so it's closer. Essentially, what you're going to do, he's got hold of both your wrists. What you're going to do is this. You're going to twist out of his hands. Now, in the form, we make that twist much bigger because you don't want to try this. I ain't going to do anything. You've got to use your core of your body. It's the trunk that's pulling in, twisting, and pushing out. Dan Tian, Ming Man. Down here. Now up here. Down, up. Down, up. Down, up. Watch the twist. Okay, so you've tried to twist out of his grip. But if he's bigger than you are, particularly if he's considerably bigger than you are, he may be able to just keep hold of you. Push him away. And then snap back. One, two, three, 4, 5. All right? Now, when you watch people do this, this is what you're going to see. It's much more relaxed. But if you're a good player, even if you're kind of doing that, like eliding over all the details, you still know the details are there. You can still be practicing the mental and the energetic part of this. All right? Step out, hit, join your hands together, twist, push, snap back, rock the baby. Even if you just do this, which is very common, including Grandmaster Feng, all right? He knows all the parts are there. He's still practicing them in his mind. There's a couple of reasons this happens. One is you're focusing on the water-like nature of Tai Chi. So you're really focusing on the flow more than the particular things. The other reason is practice in the martial arts was often done outside. It's different now, but was done outside in a public place. And you're trying not to give all your secrets away. All right? So you just sort of go over the surface of them. But you know what you're doing. So it's perfectly fine to do this. All right? In fact, I would say that's probably what you'll see most of the time. But all the parts that are in there are this. Hit. Join your hands together. Twist. Push. Snap back and rock the baby. All right. Okay, we will continue with this next week, but do this 10,000 times between now and then. Yeah, Kevin.
So were you going to have classes over Memorial Day weekend? You're not taking that off?
Oh, that's right. We've got Memorial Day next weekend, right? Yes? Yeah. No, we're going to take it off. Because, well, everybody goes everywhere anyway, so there's no point to it. Yeah, I know if you're in France. If you're in France and Israel, you probably don't, but everybody in the United States does. So that gives you more time. So you have no excuse to do this 10,000 times. All right?
So 20,000 to 2 weeks from now.
Oh, good. 20,000. Extra credit. Okay, guys, have yourselves a great day. We'll see you next time. Ciao.